Back when I was in your position just a few years ago myself, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing in my life. Like, no idea. If someone told me I was going to be working in government, I would have laughed at you because I didn't even consider it. Also, I was at university, which I entered through clearing, so I wasn't that motivated either. To make matters worse, my dad actually asked me to leave university and to join a family business because he thought I wasn't serious enough about my studying. And when a Pakistani father drops something like that, he's not joking, it's not a threat, it's real. So it was a kick up the backside.
When I did get to my final year, I did a 4-year degree, I basically panicked because everyone was applying for grad schemes. Everyone had like contacts. I had no contacts. I'm the eldest in my family. No one really works in corporate companies at all. So I used like I think it's a Times 100, like, you know, they've got a book with all the different grad schemes that you can get. Made an Excel sheet, had all the deadlines ready, thought I was going to be really proactive, apply for all these different schemes. They're so long, like honestly, they take it so long to apply for one place.
Go into uni tactically. So I knew if in my first year, I was applying to all these jobs, I was getting rejected non-stop. I was doing all these online tests, getting rejected. But I knew, all right, there's these high-level jobs, there's mid-level jobs, there's low-level jobs, so to speak. I tried to get a varied amount of exposure on my CV. My main aim was building my CV. So in my first year, I managed to get 4 internships or insight weeks across the industry. And then I was set for my second year. I decided to apply for internships at asset management because that's what I wanted to do. And then I just did that and I managed to get an offer from Goldman Sachs. So I did the 10-week internship. Then at the end of that, if they like you, they give you an offer or they don't. So they said to me, we like you, come and join us after you graduate.
My route wasn't very, very conventional insofar as I didn't actually have an internship. I got rejected from them all, which sucks.
So since I've joined, I've been there for about 2.5 years. I enjoy it, it's challenging work, and you're learning a lot.
I'm sure every one of you are going to get different graduate offers. A lot of people around you are going to tell you after you graduate, oh yeah, go for this place because they're going to give you, this amount of money, or go this place because, it's near home. Try and pick the role where you're going to learn as much as you can. That's incredibly important because the more you learn, the more likely, if your goal is to become, climb up the career ladder, then the more you learn, the more, when you're young, the more important, it would be much easier to rise up.
There's this concept that I really strongly believe in called marginal gains, which is essentially like every single time you try to make progress with something, right, and you keep failing, is not a waste of time because you would never have known your weaknesses if you hadn't tried in the first place, right? So all these applications you're making right now, and you might not be getting very far with them and so on and so forth, somewhere or other you're gaining some sort of knowledge every single time. You can't be losing knowledge by making more applications and failing, right?
Failures make you who you are, except you don't know it until you look back at them. It sucks to miss your grades and it sucks not to get what you want, but when you look back, you start to realize that, had it not been for that, I would have missed out on so much.
If there is something that you want to do, whether it's like working for your local community centre or whatever you want to do, like Ismail did, like taking a year out working in this company, I would recommend you do that because, like, when else are you going to do that? Like, you can still apply for a grad scheme a year later, but once you stopped being a grad, things get really real.
It's really important to speak to smart people around you. I spoke to like a bunch of people and I said, I want to leave. And they're like, why do you want to leave? And I learned more during that process of figuring out why I want to leave than I did learn at BT, which was kind of funny. It's like, because I had so many different conversations, spoke to so many people, they're like, oh, think about this and think about that. And then I ended up coming up with a list of key reasons why I wanted to leave. So I left and I joined the government social services, and now I'm currently a back-end developer there.
One thing I'd strongly advise if you do an internship is make a LinkedIn account. And more importantly, learn how to use it effectively. It's not just about adding random people and stuff, right? But really use it to advantage.
Individuals, make sure you spend your time around the right individuals. They say the 5 people you hang around with most are the people you're most likely to be like.
Consulting in particular is very much driven by like the networks that you have, the projects that you put on, like a director or whatever would decide that they want you in the project. So you have to network with them.
The biggest takeaway that I have is you will not get employed because of your degree.
Because I knew that, when you go into the industry, it's very difficult to find people who understand technology and understand business. If you get in between the two, you become a really important asset for an organization.
Do work hard. Do try and get the best possible grades that you can, but don't undervalue everything else around your degree. I look back at my CV, I think a week or 2 ago, 10 or 11 years of my education. This is my secondary school, which 5 years, right? Your whole GCSEs, they mattered so much once upon a time. And then your A-levels, and then your entire degree. 10 years of education, 3 lines. Going back to kind of my experiences at work, there are people that studied music. The guy that sits opposite me, actually, he was a media student, former drag queen, right? The diversity is crazy. Another person studied English, geography. It doesn't matter.
And it's very important to plant seeds in your mind. So for example, people are saving up to invest in an expensive watch or an expensive car, but people are not investing in their mind. So B for books, I for individuals, and G for growth. So you've got to think big if you want to make it in life, in your career, and also, in every other aspect of your life.
The question should never be, how do I get into Google? How do I get into Facebook? How do I get into company X? How do I get into company Y? The question should be, how should I become the very best that I could be? Thank you.